The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
So, Perth, we're not getting Taylor Swift, but we don't need her.
No.
We don't need her because we've got something even better than that.
Bigger than Coldplay.
We've got a 2-metre metal cylinder which is rusted and covered in barnacles down at a beach, and none of us know what it is.
That's right.
I do think it's quite remarkable how big and, like, it's clearly heavy that it just washes up that size and it's just placed, it's placed into the sand.
Yeah, I know,
10
right?
metres from the water's edge.
Yeah.
Well, Reddit has been all over this.
Yeah. Oh,
Someone on Reddit has
Who are these
photo
people?
matched it. There are people with too much time. There are people out there that try to solve active murders as well.
I know.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
isn't
and
it?
cold cases and stuff.
I like that.
So they're saying that it's the third stage of India's PSLV rocket, which is India's Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. It's an expandable vehicle designed to carry a payload from Earth's surface to space.
But it's part of the rocket that flies it off.
It's the first stage. It's the third stage that falls.
Have you got a picture that I can look at? I believe that'd be the case.
I mean, it does look.
Well, it does.
It definitely,
Yeah.
I
originally
think they're right.
They've screen matched it. They're Sean. That's it.
Yeah. I reckon that's bang on.
Yeah. But yet, so if someone on Reddit says what it is, and they're not even here, and yet we've got the army and the police and experts down here actually like knocking on it, they can't work out what it is yet. Are you serious?
I know. And surely, like, one phone call to the Indian Space Agency could clear this up.
I thought so.
Just
tough to get hold of, though.
message with a photo. Why aren't they returning our calls?
Yeah, it's pretty full on. The funniest thing is, because everyone's so excited.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got to get down
So
there and see
excited.
it, don't you?
And not just that, Natalie, you've got to get down there and you've got to touch it.
But they told us not to touch it.
They did tell us not to touch it. But you know what? When someone tells you not to touch something, you touch it. And people were touching it. I saw someone rubbing their hands on it.
I know, and that's before
Just
they
soaking
knew
up
what it
as
was.
much unknown radiation as they can.
Exactly, getting your face right up on it.
They're saying it could be dangerous because space radiation is no joke.
Space radiation. That's the technical term.
Space radiation is no joke.
Yeah, but it's washed off because it's been in the ocean.
Yeah.
Famously does rinse off in salt water.
But human nature, they say don't touch something, so we touch it. We would like, firstly, Ruby.
Ruby, come
over to the microphone, please, Ruby. We're talking about when you've been told not to touch something, so of course you touch it. What happened?
So my auntie lives in the UK and she got married years ago when I was younger, and she came back over for it was an engagement party which turned into a surprise wedding. So it was at my nana's place, and they had everything set up there, and there was this beautiful cake that had been made for the wedding that was sitting on the bench.
Tears?
Yeah, tears. And the icing was like, what's it like when it's quite hard on the outside? But
like fondant.
Yes, that sort of icing. And I don't know how old I was at the time, probably 8 or 9, and I just had the urge to...
So you've been told, don't go near this cake.
Don't go near this
You
cake.
just rammed your finger in it?
I don't know why.
Oh, that's okay, because brides are chill about their wedding cake.
So I touched it. Couldn't help myself.
Here we go.
Sam, who does all of our digital content. Hello, Sam.
Good morning.
Come to You've touched something that you weren't supposed to?
Yeah, when I was very, very young, my dad's quite handy and he likes to fix stuff around the house, and he was fixing something on the car with a soldering iron. And obviously it's like super, super hot thing, so it's like, don't touch it, it's really hot. And it was on the floor, so I thought it would be better if I didn't touch it, I could stand on it. And I remember it was raining that day and I was screaming.
Bare feet?
Yeah, and I just ran it out into the rain. I was like on the floor crying.
You ran out into the rain.
I ran out into the rain because I thought that would be like cool me down somehow. And that was it. And I went to hospital.
I love the fact that in your mind you're going, you said don't touch it. Yeah.
So I'm touching with my foot.
Stand on it.
Yes.
All right, we want to talk about this. You've been told not to touch it, so you touched it. It's a bad idea, I'm guessing. I don't know if we're going to get a positive idea. Do you reckon there's a positive story?
The greatest thing
They
I
said,
ever
don't
did.
touch it. Now I touched it. Now look at me. I'm a millionaire. We're going to give somebody $300 to spend at Morris Mead.
Well, that's better than being a millionaire.
I know. Book now and get $50 off 3 or more. What's that word?
Kerastars. Yeah.
Kerastars?
Products.
What's that?
Oh, like that's the brand. They're very high quality hair care products.
Chala. What,
I know.
better than Pert?
Better
Two
than
in one.
Pert. Better than Pert, 2 in 1.
$300 for a new do at Morris Mead up for grabs.
All right, it's a simple question. You were told not to touch it, but you touched it. Our friends at the International Space Centre, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yes, they have confirmed that their rocket guys agree that it probably is from the Indian rocket.
Yep.
And the Indian Space Agency is going to be in Perth next week.
Well, that's amazing. But the people from Reddit, as Nathan told us, they were onto it ages ago.
Yes, they were,
I know,
which is
so
amazing.
funny.
So, Australian National University astrophysicist Brad Tucker has said when a rocket launches, there's usually multiple stages and often the few parts separate before entering orbit. So he's got a rule, though. My rule with space junk. It's like Australian animals. Don't touch it unless you know what you're doing. The fuel is usually carcinogenic, so exercising caution is important.
So everyone was told not to touch this mystery item on the beach at Greenhead, and yet they're touching
That's
it.
okay, because the ones I saw were rubbing it.
Big difference.
I think it's more dangerous to touch it with just one finger, but if you're rubbing your face on it, you're fine.
That's fine.
We are talking about when you've been told not to touch something and so you touched it.
Brendan, hello.
G'day, guys. How we going?
Hey, good,
We
Brendan.
know that when somebody tells you not to do something, you're overwhelmingly urged to do it. What happened?
So I was on my last shift. I'm a seafarer, so we're sailing out of the port of Fremantle. Part of my job is to steer the vessel under the captain's instructions. And I'm going past Gage Roads Brewery there, and I just couldn't help it, and I just started tugging on the ship's horn. And massive. You know, the captain's losing it. The chief mate's going, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm out of here. This is my last swing." And I'm just reefing on the ship's horn. And they're going, "How are we going to explain this to the Port Authority? What's going on?"
Oh,
yeah. So
because you have to officially use your horn. It has to be official horn.
Use your horn.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
yeah, it's not the done thing generally.
No.
Hey, Brendan, are they the big cargo ships you've been working on?
So we refuel. I used to refuel the cargo ships. Everything out of Fremantle. We're on a fuel vessel, so we used to bunker all the vessels out of Fremantle. Yeah.
Hey, what's it like to be to be the one controlling that powerful horn?
I was pretty horny after that.
It'd be such a thrill. It'd be such a thrill.
Especially when you know you're not supposed to. That's awesome. Thanks,
good
Brendan.
one. Good one,
David's in Gosnells. Morning, Dave.
Hello.
Okay,
Dave.
when were you told not to touch something, but you went ahead and touched it anyway?
It was my daughter. When she was 5, my mum has this plant in the backyard, and I kept telling her for weeks and weeks and weeks not to touch it.
Yes.
I suppose I probably should have explained what it was, but she decided to grab it, and it was a cactus.
Yes.
And for the next hour, I had to deal with crying, and I was picking the spikes out of her hand with tweezers.
Yeah.
But it was the really fine,
Yes, they're like
white
little
thin ones
needles.
that you can barely see.
Yeah. And also not having an idea how dangerous a cactus too, because your father didn't tell you.
Yeah.
You would have grabbed it really tightly.
Yeah.
Like, anyone else that knows what a cactus is, if you would have to touch one, you would touch it very gingerly.
Yes, you would.
But your neglectful
Well, I suppose it's
parenting
pretty
really, really
self-explanatory.
hurt her.
Yeah. I mean, he told her not to touch it. That should have been enough.
Yeah, but you
shouldn't
really
have
need
to say why.
You really need to get into the nooks and crannies of what
Lay
a
down
cactus
the
is.
law.
You really got to tell people.
Thanks, Dave. Miriam, hello.
Hello, Dom. How are you?
Good, Mary.
Okay, what happened?
So my younger brother was waiting to have a bath, and Mum had forgotten to get the plug and the soap, so she just put them in the bathtub and said, "Just sit there, don't touch anything, don't play." Of course, my brother had to be smart, and he put his finger in the drain, the drainage
In the plug hole.
section of the bath,
Yeah.
the plug hole, and of course his finger got stuck. And we had to call the fire department because back then the old baths, the drain plug was all part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all built in.
They
Yeah.
had to get so the fire department had to come out, cut the drain cover off the bath.
Yep.
And then they had to cut the drain off his finger.
Wow.
And my mum actually kept the drain plug and gave it to him on his 21st birthday.
Oh, good
That's
thinking.
great.
That's great.
I tell you what, if I was a kid and I did something where they had to cut the bath up, I would be belted into
Yeah.
The next week.
the next
you
decade.
would've.
I
You
would
would've.
have. Yeah, like imagine your parents having
Yeah.
to buy a new bath because of
I
what
can.
you did.
Yeah.
Back in the
when
day.
you were told not to.
Back in the day.
Specifically told not to.
I think we would have
Don't
been
touch anything.
killed.
Henry would have gone off his nut.
Yeah, I can't even explain how many times I would have been hit in a row.
Well, our parents didn't have spare bath money. That's why.
They didn't.
There was no money for a spare bath.
When I was younger, I don't even think I could conceive what you'd need if you needed a bath, how it would happen.
Yes.
Because you got given one.
Well, we didn't even have one. No bath, just shower.
I feel for the fire department too. Back in the day, they were getting calls.
Yes, of course, yeah. That's right.
$300 to spend at Morris Mead, by the way. You can book now and get $50 off 3 or more Kerastase products. Very important. Brendan is going to get this with the ship's horns.
Horny old Brendan.
Oh, mate. Who wouldn't do that?
Exactly. Well done.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Time to catch up with somebody who escaped the clutches of Nova years ago. But he's done what we've been unable to do. Formerly of Merrick and Rosso. Now he's just Merrick. Merrick Watts.
And he's now an expert in something that we find very strange. Wine.
Yeah. Wine.
Yeah.
Wine.
Merrick, an idiot's guide to wine. You're bringing it to Perth.
Yes.
I mean, you're an idiot and you love wine. That makes sense.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very exciting. Oh, look, I've actually been fortunate enough to have been to Perth several times recently, but I'm coming back to tour my show after trying to get there for months. So we're at the Rechabite this weekend, and the shows are all sold out, but we've managed to get some tickets released today so that people listening can snap up the very, very last of the tickets. But otherwise, it's sold out. I just like saying that because it makes me look far more successful.
The venue seats 4 people, but it's sold out.
So we released one more seat.
But you have to bring your own
snap it up.
It's a table for 5.
Wow, people lining up for tickets at Taylor Swift. Imagine that one ticket. refresh.
Hey, Merrick.
Actually, when I say Rechabite, I mean it's an Uber. So that's what I've done.
Hey, Merrick, where did the wine thing come from? I've got out with people that have wine connoisseurs at times, and I just think they're making it up half the time. So have you been through a course? Do people just make this shit up when they're just talking about wines in this sophisticated area?
Yeah, sometimes they do. But look, you'd actually be surprised at how many people have a bit of a think about wine and articulate, and they're actually pretty close to it. But I've got proper qualifications. I've got what they call a WESET Level 3, which is one below diploma in wine. It's an international wine standard, recognised everywhere in the world. I'm also a Barossa Master, and I'm a qualified wine judge as well. Wow. So I know, right? Yeah. I know.
That's impressive because Natalie's a level 7 pisshead.
Proudly. You get a medal. It's amazing.
And both of us have done a TAFE course. So well done to us. It's the extent of it. But yeah, look, it's the show itself, An Idiot's Guide to Wine, it's a comedy show, but it's about wine. But the kind of the different hook to it is the fact that I take people through a flight of 6 wines. So there's 6 different wines in the show, and they kind of have like little samples of each one as they go through. And I just tell jokes about the grapes and the history of the wines and stuff like that. So it's a very funny show. I love it. It's my favourite show I've ever done in my career, and it's the longest running touring show I've ever done in my entire career. It just keeps going and going and going. It's been overseas. It's travelling again overseas at the end of this year and next year as well. So it's been a lot of fun. That's why it's sold out. I'll say that again. It's sold out.
Why wouldn't it be? I mean, you just explained the show to me, and my favourite part of it is the part where you just said you tell jokes about grapes.
Yeah, not bum grapes, just regular grapes.
I've always wanted to be a wine person, but I just don't have that sophistication in me. Red wine I cannot stand. I think it tastes. There is not one. My mate buys. I went around to his house one day. It was a Wednesday night, so it was not even a special night. And he bought a $350 bottle of red wine and then gave me some.
Jesus.
And I know. And that was just for a normal night. So he gave me some, and I had one sip, and I said, pour it back into the bottle because that's like $60.
And it's wasted on you.
Yeah. But even white
I know,
wine.
100%.
Even white wine.
But no, hang on. No, even a $6 wine is wasted on you. You don't even need to get the $360. Like, honestly, a can of beer. If he poured you a can of beer,
and Merrick,
it's still a waste.
Do you have a wine that you recommend to non-wine drinkers, like as the one that's going to bring them on board? Because I love gin, and I've got a couple of gins that I recommend to people who say, I don't like gin. I'm like, you do like gin, you just haven't drunk the right gin yet. Is it the same with wine?
Yeah, look, I mean, if people don't, when people say, I don't like white wine, I say to them, well, look, try Riesling or Chardonnay. They're two of my favourite wines. But I think a lot of people, it's funny you should say that because people say, I don't like Chardonnay. And I go, well, you might not have had it for a while. And WA makes some absolutely incredible quality Chardonnay. There's so much good. Obviously, Margaret River, is famous for Cabernet and for Chardonnay, but it's really of an international standard. I was in France at the end of the year last year in wine country in Avignon. I'm just bragging again.
Yeah.
Basically,
It's lovely.
Was there a sold-out show that you had to perform there, Merrick?
No. I was importing drugs for a guy I know from Turkey. Anyway, it's not important what I was doing.
It is a Louis Vuitton duffel bag too. I mean, I don't want to talk about labels, but keep going.
Or as I'm known in Europe, Chappelle Corby. And also, I'd say to people, if you haven't had Chardonnay, try it again and give it a crack. But also too in WA, another one is Riesling. A lot of blokes particularly don't go to Riesling anymore, but down in the great west, the great southern part of Western Australia, there's some incredibly good, high quality Rieslings there, and it's phenomenal how good the quality of wine in Australia is in general, and particularly in WA. It's like proper international standards. So I talk a little bit about that in the show, but mainly I just do honestly a lot of dick jokes. It's pretty basic. It's I'm not a complicated human. I don't try to make it too complicated.
Show us the windsurf.
He does. He does the corkscrew, Sean. The corkscrew's the one for the wine show, and it's amazing too. He uncorks that quick start.
I mean, there's no cork in the wine anymore, but he's still got the corkscrew.
No, I bring the cork. It's not the corkscrew. It's just the cork.
No. You just put it in there.
I've got that scene of Borat where he's pouring the champagne.
Remember when
remember when he pits up that kid?
Yes.
Oh, that was amazing. Hey, Merrick, you still look fit as a fiddle. Of course, we loved you on SAS Australia when you dominated. You dominated. But have you just done a marathon? Did I see that?
Yeah, just punched out a tidy little marathon up at the Gold Coast a couple of weeks ago, 42.2 kilometres in 3 hours 43, so a little bit slower.
Actually running quick.
That's good.
Yeah, a bit slower than I had hoped for, but it was pretty hard going towards the end with a bit of heat and a bit of wind. But what's funny? I was told that it was really difficult in the last 3 kilometres. I was like, yeah, whatever, we'll be right. I've done SAS Australia. I think I'll be okay with a little hit-out jog like this. And I got to 39 kilometres, and I wanted somebody to take me into a paddock and shoot me, like a dog called Rufus that the family no longer wants or requires. But as this Sean, a young bloke, he's 24 years of age. There's 2 kilometres to go, right? We can literally see down the straight to the finish line. And I've seen this young bloke, 24, fit as a fiddle, looks like Ned Brockman, and he's just collapsed in front of me. And and I just went into classic kind of that, that SAS kind of mode where I'm just going, just got to get there, just got to get it done. So I walked past, I'm going, get up, mate, you got more in you. And I just grabbed him and picked him up and I go, come on, we'll run this together the whole way, stop it. And he goes, right. And he just kind of switched because he was out, he was gone. All right, I went, now he's got a wingman. I'm going to be his wingman. He's half my age, but I'm going to drag this bloke over the finish line if I have to. We run the last 2 kilometres. We get there side by side. He turns to me and goes, thanks so much, mate. I would never have got this if you hadn't picked me up. Thanks so much. And I went, awesome, mate. We've done it together. We get 50 metres from the finish line and he burns me off and runs away. And I said, what are you doing? And because I'm 49, I've just gone, see you, mate. And he just dragged me off and beat me. And I got across the finish line and I said, I saved your life. I don't believe in you. And he goes, yeah, I had to beat you, mate. I had to beat you.
I bet you. People like that all over the place.
That's so funny.
Atrocious.
Yeah. So next time I run a marathon, I see somebody laying on the ground, I'm going to step on them.
Yeah, that's the only solution. Oh, too funny. All right. You can check out, if you're quick enough, An Idiot's Guide to Wine at the Rechabite this weekend.
Half a ticket still available.
Moshtix.com.au is where you can find all the details and snap up the very last of those tickets. It's always a pleasure, Merrick. Thanks for talking to us, buddy.
Love talking to you guys. All
Good
the
on you,
best.
Merrick.
Legends. See you later.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Now, as you know, I went on holidays, took a week of long service leave to make that a 3-week holiday, went to the most expensive place in the world, Scandinavia.
Really expensive,
like $39 for a gin and tonic at a little bar in Bergen.
Okay, so alcohol can be very expensive some places. What about just normal things, like say if you're going to get like a sandwich or something?
It's just
comparative.
Pricier. It's just maybe instead of here where it might be $10, there it's $15.
Oh, so it's like you're buying everything at the Royal Show.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. But I accepted that. Like I knew that's what I was going into. I knew it was going to be more expensive. I was lucky in that the Norwegian krona did actually drop a little bit.
Oh, is that the name of the money?
So
krona?
they're all krona, different krona, but they're all Denmark, Danish krona, Swedish krona, Norwegian krona.
My krona.
Oh, right. That's where the song came from.
So I'd accepted that was the case and that it was just going to be an expensive holiday.
Sure.
But I had an amazing time and it was all worth it. Guess what I came home to?
What?
A bill for $1,564.67.
Why?
Because my cat got a busted ass.
Your cat's got a busted
my cat
bum
has
hole.
a busted bum.
Blew a sphincter.
No, what?
Huh?
That's what it is, isn't it?
Oh,
Sphincter?
sorry, I thought you said Lewis. Anyway, no, nothing to do with Lewis. So the vet thinks she got into a fight at some point, but she's not really a fighting cat. And there was
like a bum fight.
Deep gouge on her very close to her butthole, and so she had to be taken to the vet, knocked out. They had to do tests to see if her bowel had been perforated. They had to clean it out. So they reckon it had abscessed and then burst.
Oh, God.
I know.
Is she married? Because it sounds like it was her husband's birthday.
and then they cut off all the dead flesh and then stitch it up.
Oh, Natalie.
And I know. And so she has this weird shaved back end now and she has to wear the little collar.
And does it look like the end of a plony knob?
It doesn't look great.
Can she look you in the eye now?
Don't ever peel the end of a plony knob off. It looks like a cat's bum hole.
So. If the end of the plony knob had a bunch of stitches in it.
To be honest, I haven't had plony for a while, but I'm pretty sure the last time I had one, it did.
And also had 2 holes. But yes.
Plony knob. Such a great word.
I'm going to show you a picture of the actual injury before she'd been to the vet.
Oh.
So this is what
So this is the ass before the injury. Why do you have a photo?
No, this is when the injury happened.
Okay, I thought you were going to show me a pre-photo of her unbusted bum hole, and I was going to question why you had those photos.
Before medical intervention.
I don't want to know. I don't want to see this.
But you do a little bit, though, don't you?
No, especially after the salt
Harry's
and
up and
licorice
about. He wants to see it.
It's just a lot.
I know, you're coming with a lot of bad tasty things, haven't you?
I know, right? Hang on, here she comes.
Okay, Nubber's taking 50 of them.
There we go. This picture here.
Oh, God. Oh, so that...
So
no one wants to see that.
Well,
God,
that's a second bum hole. It looks like a second one.
It's $1,500 worth is what that is.
Who fights someone and goes for their bum?
Exactly, a coward.
Prison rules,
she was running away.
Prison rules.
It's not in prison.
No, let me explain to you soap on a rope.
She's a very nice little cat, and now she's got to wear a bucket on her head, and I'm $1,500 in the hole. In the hole.
Oh. Well, yeah, basically. Well, actually, next to the hole. You're $1,500 next to the hole.
Now, you don't need to come back from an overseas trip and just cop the $1,500 on.
I know, especially after going to Scandinavia.
I know, right? So that sucks.
Especially these days, people are budgeting so much. You know what I mean? Like you literally spend your last cent before you board the get on the plane, come home, and like you're not expected to come home to bills.
No. Nat, the last time we went to Bali, which was like 5 years ago, and we flew back in, went to Megan's car, and the battery had gone flat, and it was like 2 a.m. or something along the lines. It's freezing, obviously.
Yes.
So we're huddled in that, the long-term parking.
Bus shelter,
thing.
yes.
And we're just sitting there, and I said, Megan, just ring the RAC, and she rings the RAC. They said, oh, you haven't paid your membership, so you're out. That's going to cost you $300 and whatever dollars. And then the guy comes out, and then for a battery, it's $250. So it was like $600 almost for us to get going,
which took
home. About an hour and 20 minutes.
Would have been cheaper to take an Uber, wouldn't
What do you do? What a lot of people do, and they just leave their car there because the parking's too expensive to pay. So people just literally just abandon their cars. You should have just done that. We want to talk about, okay, so you've been away, whatever, and you come home and there's an unexpected bill.
Yes.
An unexpected cost that you weren't facing.
No.
Before you left.
When you left for your holiday, that wasn't on the table.
Yeah. Bills you've returned to is what we'll call it, 13, 24, 10. Someone is going to make a little bit back with their hair. $300 to spend at Morris Mead. You can book now and get $50 off 3 or more Keratars products. Keratars. Boys can't say it.
No, it's not possible.
Keratars products.
Nice. All right, tell us about that unexpected bill that you came home to.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, guys. How you going?
Yeah, good, Ben. All right, what happened, Ben?
Well, so I went to Darwin on holiday about a year and a half ago. So just got to give a little plug. Darwin's a great place to go. It's in the bin.
Everybody visit Darwin.
I agree.
like Darwin.
Darwin's a fun town.
Yeah.
And I was travelling with children, so that's struck one. Anyway, so we got a phone call. My mate was house sitting, and we're obviously on a rainwater tank. And the fitting on the rainwater tank went. It was August, so lost all the water. So that was step one.
Yeah.
Then the pump died. So that was step 2. Had to organise a plumber from Darwin that I didn't even know to then repair the entire tank, refill it back up because obviously we wouldn't have no water.
Yeah.
So then I came back. That was while I was there. It was about $2,000. Then we got back, and then the fitting underneath the tank, which then pumped the house to the water, they decided to pack up and go home as well.
How much?
$3,500 all up.
Oh, Ben, you don't need that.
Yeah, I know. So we were living on meagerang for a couple of weeks.
It's me garang, you garang, us garang.
Yeah, that's right.
We all garang.
Oh, that hurts. Oh, thanks, Ben. All right, Lauren's in the Vines. Hello, Lauren.
Good morning, team. How are we going?
Great. What bill did you come home to after your holiday?
So, unfortunately, mine's also Darwin related. Must be in the water up there.
Yeah.
So, my then boyfriend and I at the time went off to Mauritius for a cheeky 10-day holiday, just first, romantic vacation together. Yeah. Very young, the pair of us, about 20, 21. Came back to our share house when we landed to a $3,500 power bill.
Whoa.
How? What were they running?
Is your hydro setup working out
Well,
perfectly?
we'd all just moved out of home, hadn't had to pay any bills, and so none of us thought to turn off lights and aircons.
I mean, the lights aren't going to get you, but the aircon certainly is.
How long was the aircon on for?
3 weeks.
We all had bedroom aircons running 24/7 for 6 months. And, it hit us. And insult injury, when we landed, my partner's car had been hit by a tree. In the car park.
Usually a car hits a tree, not a tree hits a car.
Oh, in the car park at the airport. That's outrageous.
Yep. Just excellent. So, we moved out the following week and was very, very broke for a while.
Yeah,
That's a stinker.
meagering for you as well.
Yeah.
So if a tree just falls on a car
and nobody sees
it, did it really happen? No, if a tree falls on a car, what happens insurance-wise?
Well, you'd be covered by insurance if you're insured. Was he insured?
He was, and it was a huge, big highlight with a big bull bar. So thankfully he had minimal damage, just a few dents. The car next to him had been totaled.
Oh, wow.
Imagine coming back to that.
Squashed.
You can't.
I know. We're just like, oh, you poor humans.
Yeah, that's not good. Thank you, Lauren.
Let's finish off with Louise in Beelia. Hey, Lou.
Hi, good morning.
Hello, Louise. What happened?
So it's actually not me, it was my parents. It was about 10 years ago. We were living in Victoria and we had a toddler, so they came over to stay with us for a month, spend some time with her from the UK. And just towards the end of their holiday, it was November, so it was winter time in the UK, and they had like a really cold snap and it was absolutely freezing. And my dad woke up one morning and checked his emails, and there was an email from a local real estate agent in the town where they live to say, you need to get someone out to your house. I was looking at a house next door, and there was water pouring out of your front door.
That's good.
Yeah, that's not good. So obviously he was really panicking, and with the time difference, he couldn't organise anyone to do anything because it was the middle of the night by the time he'd seen the email. So there was a few hours was pretty fraught where he was waiting, getting numbers of people together so that as soon as it was the right time, a decent time, he could call. And he called his nephew, my cousin, and he went round there, and there was water coming out of the front door. And as he opened the front door, it was literally like Titanic. The water just came flooding out, and of course freezing cold, and he could see there was like electricity sparks everywhere and everything, so he couldn't go in. So then they had to call emergency services and get the mains water shut off and get an electrician to turn off all the power. And basically there was like a big storage tank water storage tank in the loft, and it's connected to the mains water, and the pipes had burst because it was so frozen, and the entire top floor of their house fell down into the ground floor.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's hectic, Louise.
So what's put the price tag on it? What was the bill?
It was just about £120,000.
And also they lost money on real estate as well because it became a 2-level to a 1 level.
That's true. That's a good point.
You're not expecting to come home and like, miss a whole story of your house.
No. Well, no, you're not missing it. It's just in the lounge room now. It's amazing. Thanks, Louise. Incredible stories.
Yeah, absolutely. $300 to spend at Morris Mead. Book now and get $50 off 3 or more Kerastars products.
Yes.
Very well. I'll write that down. Lauren, power bill.
Oh, because she had no clue about electricity.
Yeah. I like it. Before you go on holidays,
me.
everyone turn on all the aircons and then just see what happens when you come home.
3 weeks later.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.